So, it turns out that was a street sweeper, not very long lasting, so that's good. So, where was I? I was talking about the moon card, and now we're going to talk about the card that is the foundation, which is the Ten of Wands. This is about somebody who is taking upon themselves to carry all those wands. So this is that sense of taking on a burden or responsibility that might not belong to you, Taurus. And have you done this in a relationship? Have you done this in the workplace? And maybe you feel like you need to leave a job. And, you know, one of the things too, wands can be like careers. So it might even be, that's why I said, this might be like one of those times in your life where you're like, you know what, I've had enough of this. For some reason, nursing popped up because, you know, I think that might be one of those professions where people get burned out pretty easily. And if they make a lot of demands on people, then that can make it that much more difficult to want to stick around. And or some other job. This could be your own, where you're at, where you're being asked to do your job plus somebody else's, or maybe like a half a person's job responsibilities. And why? Because they don't want to hire more people. They may claim that they don't have the resources to do so, and you're basically left with either quitting or doing it. And it feels, you might be resentful of that. And the moon card could be that you don't even know the half of it. You don't know what's really going on behind the scenes. And that probably on some level bothers you because you may feel that there's some deception there. Same with a relationship issue. That you're like, you know, if you want to leave a current relationship and you're not sure if the person that you are involved with on the side, and that doesn't feel right to say that, but I'm not here to judge. I'm just saying like what might be going on, and you feel like that person might be untrustworthy. Maybe you've already suspected that they're not being true. Maybe they're in a relationship, and you know, when two people are going outside of their relationship, each one may appear to the other to be untrustworthy because they're kind of sneaking around. But perhaps this is also due to somebody's addiction problems, and you feel like you've tried, you know, the Ten of Wands can be you tried to kind of do it all, and you were hoping that that would help that person improve their life. They may have said, oh, it's because this is why I drink, this is, you know, or whatever it is. And you come to realize that there's a lot of excuses, but there's not a lot of action. And that can feel, you know, big. I got some kind of a, I don't know, thing there. In the past position, we have the Knight of Swords. So this can be a card of even a lawyer. Sometimes this is an attitude that you have taken upon yourself. If that is another person, so that could be like an air sign, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius person that you've met. But if this is an aspect of yourself, this is you becoming more outspoken or finding your voice and being a lot less willing to go along with the program. And again, I mean, even in the workplace, you know, Taurus likes mellow, you know, a mellow life. You don't want to make waves unless you have a lot of Aries. You know, if you have Mars in Aries, you might, or Moon in Aries, I guess. But in general, you really want to get along with others and just have harmony. But perhaps that was an excessive need, and now there is this tendency to be in a position of feeling like your needs are not being met, and that is not acceptable to you. So you may be like ready to just make that decision. Right now we have the King of Cups. This can be some kind of sometimes it can be like a chronologically older male, especially like a water sign who's very caring, Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, and they understand you, they get you, they are giving you emotional support. This can be a father who is caring, a counselor. Maybe you're going to a counselor if you're having marital difficulties, or just some kind of a work mediator that helps to deal with, or you know, like a career counselor type of a person. And this kind of thing can be, maybe this is even, what do they call it, like a mentor in a creative field who you look up to, like a fellow artist, a fellow musician who has been there and done that, and has, you know, if it's something, excuse me, about some kind of creative endeavor, that you are going to them for guidance because they have, maybe they're doing it professionally, because even in the near future, we have a card associated with art, which is the Empress, creativity. Now, this can be this is Taurus, this can be Taurus, this can be you. This is the mother. So the king is the father. Is this something where you're dealing with the dilemma is because you have a child with somebody or you're pregnant, and that can kind of throw things out of whack. The King of Cups, if this is another person, they are very caring. So it stands to reason, like if the Knight of Wands is somebody that you have become infatuated with, this person, you see the difference between the Knight and the King. The King, you know, they always say the Knight is a younger male, but this may not be necessarily always the case. The Knight could be somebody who's immature. They might be in their 40s or 50s and still be very immature. The King is a very caring person. Maybe you see the Knight of Swords as more interesting or dangerous. And when I say dangerous, I don't mean literally dangerous, but more harder to pin down, especially if they're like a Gemini. They just seem like somebody who you feel an allure towards because they are like hard to get a hold of, hard to pin down. That would be if you have your own commitment issues, though. Because typically, you know, having a relationship with somebody, you want to be able to get a hold of them, unless you are afraid of intimacy. So that's something to definitely look at, and you want somebody who's caring. That's not a boring trait, you know, to be caring. So it's really about looking at yourself as well. But this could be somebody who is very like a career person, or even a boss who's very like understanding. So if you have to make a decision and there's a possibility of working for somebody like the King of Cups, it would be great because they're very caring, but this might even be the type of profession, a healing arts profession or an artistic profession. So I picked a couple of cards before I realized that I'd done the wrong spread. For, you know, where you're at emotionally and mentally right now, we have the Three of Cups, and this is kind of like a celebratory, a social mood, and it could be because you feel like you're coming out of something. Excuse me. Because you have to decide something, so you may be even like enlisting your girlfriends to help you decide, you know, to give you moral support or something like that. And you also have the Nine of Wands, so you've got a bit of what do you call that? Your back is up. You're aware that there might be something that you need to protect yourself from. And so that might be another reason why you're kind of reaching out to your girlfriends. It's just like, hey, look, this person is really causing problems in my life, and I know I've neglected our friendship, but I need my girls to have my back and all this stuff. And they may be giving moral support to you. This person may, we're still in a Venus retrograde until the 25th of June. So that's in the second half of the month. So that may be that kind of individual who is coming back into your life, and or maybe you're anticipating it. Maybe they've even contacted you and you've tried to, that's why you're thinking of moving, because you just want to get really far away from such a person. Who knows, but it's kind of like being on high alert in a way. What's coming in, the Judgment card, rebirth. That's what I was talking about with that full moon in the 8th house. Is a kind of a death of sorts, of, symbolic death. And when you have a death, you have a rebirth. That's why when you're talking about eclipses, and you're talking about like a lunar eclipse, and you're talking about endings, there's also a beginning seated within every ending. And so it's really important to realize that. And not to just assume that, oh, if something's ending, then that's it. There's just like a flat line. No, that means that something else is beginning. And then the outcome, the 10 of Pentacles, is a really good card for money. This is a card of inheritance. So I didn't necessarily see anything with the rest of these cards that indicated something regarding an inheritance that you're dealing with. Although I will say, with the lunar eclipse in that 8th house, that could certainly be the case, that you have had to, maybe you found out about it by accident, and then you just kind of are like realizing that it's even there, or it just brings out a lot of things because of it. The Judgment card is a card of karma, so it's kind of like cause and effect. And so anything that belongs to you, I think that you will get. And the 10 of Pentacles is family money, and it is connected to inheritances. But also this can be with love. This can be some kind of a business. Business. This can be like a generational relationship, where it's a long-lasting relationship with, children, grandchildren, the whole 9 yards. What I was thinking is that maybe the 8th house is connected to Scorpio, and so is Judgment card is connected to Pluto. So maybe the King of Cups is a Scorpio, your opposite sign. I don't know, but it's a very good money card, as well as just that success in general. So I like how it ends. Sorry I had to do it in 2 parts, but it is what it is. Okay, Taurus, that's what I have for you. I hope that you enjoyed this. I'm promoting a reading that is a combination of 2 full-length readings, natal chart interpretation with transits that are going on for the next year, and a full-length tarot reading. It's called The Whole Enchilada. It's part of my offerings, and you can find out more information at the link below. And thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.